gathering. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to all. Today it is an honor for me to stand before you with a heart filled with gratitude and admiration for His Royal Highness Prince Faisal bin Michal bin Saud. Through his visionary leadership, the establishment of Blood Bank Friends Charity has become a lifeline for thousands in need of life-saving blood. Prince Faisal's compassion and commitment to humanitarian causes have made an indelible impact in the community and ensuring no one suffers due to the lack of access of blood or blood products. The gathering today we're having would not have been possible without Prince Faisal's foresight in establishing this philanthropic foundation. I extend my deepest thanks to His Royal Highness Prince Faisal for his unwavering dedication to improving the lives of others. Additionally, I would express my sincere appreciation to the organizers of Blood Bank Friends Charity, Damy, for extending their gracious invitation, allowing me the privilege to visit this beautiful country of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I convey the warmest wishes from the people of Bangladesh and on behalf of Asian Association of Transfusion Medicine to the people of Saudi Arabia. Thank you for your hospitality, for providing me with the opportunity to contribute such a noble cause. So my presentation will repeat many things that has been discussed in the early morning by Dr. Ali and Mr. Yu Jumping. He has mentioned into their presentation. And my presentation will be in two parts. First of all, I would like to discuss about the voluntary non-remunerated blood donation. And secondly, a little about the Asian Association of Transfusion Medicine. So the title of my presentation, From Compassion to Action, a life-saving act of generosity and solidarity, voluntary non-remunerated blood donation. We all do have the compassion, but we have to convert this compassion into action, and that can be done by giving blood or by donating blood. The need for blood is universal, but the access to blood is not. And regular blood donations are needed all over the world to ensure individuals and communities have access to safe blood and blood products. And every single blood or plasma donation is a precious life-saving gift. So the blood is always needed for several reasons, like in case of cancer patients, accident victims, blood disorder patients, surgery patients, especially the transplant cases, premature and preterm babies, and in many more health conditions. So what is voluntary non-remunerated blood donation? Voluntary blood donation refers to unpaid, non-remunerated blood donation. And who is a voluntary non-remunerated blood donor? A person who gives blood, plasma, or other components of his or her own free will and receives no payment for it, either in the form of cash or in kind, which could be considered a substitute for money. A small token refreshments or reimbursement of direct travel costs are compatible with voluntary non-remunerated blood donation. So there are some categories of the voluntary blood donor, like new voluntary donor, a voluntary non-remunerated blood donor who has never donated blood before, lapsed voluntary donor, a donor who has given blood in the past but does not fulfill the criteria for a regular donor, and regular voluntary donor, a blood donor who donates blood on a regular basis without any break for a longer duration between two donations, at last donation being within the previous year, and continues to donate regularly at least once per year. There are some other categories of blood donors, like the family or replacement donor, a donor who gives blood when it is required by a member of the patient's family or community. And this may involve a hidden paid donation system in which the donor is paid by the patient's family and which compromise the safety of the blood. Then paid or professional donor, a donor who donates blood in exchange of money or other form of payment. Forced blood donor, a person who is not willing to donate blood on his or her own, but is being forced by their superiors or employer for donation. And there is always a fear of losing one's job or promotion. Then another type of donor is an autologous blood donor. The patient themselves act as a blood donor, and especially we find it in case of the rare blood groups like Bombay blood group patients when they need an elective surgery. An apheresis donor, a donor who donates only one of their blood components through the process of cell separation. So what is the goal of this voluntary blood donation? The goal is to wipe off the scarcity of the blood and ensure availability of safe and quality blood and other components round the clock and throughout the year. And this will lead to alleviation of human sufferings, even to far-flung remote areas in the country. There are several objectives of the voluntary blood donation, like to provide safe and quality blood and blood components collected from voluntary donors round the clock at affordable costs to the general public and free of cost to the poor. Ensure safety and quality of the blood, motivate and maintain a permanent, well-indexed record of voluntary blood donation, educating the community on the beneficial aspects of the blood donation and harmful effect of collecting blood from paid donors. There are some other objectives like actively encourage voluntary blood donation and gradually eliminate the professional blood donors, to promote AIDS awareness and education to the general public, assist the various organizations, clubs, colleges, public and private institutions, and the public to conduct voluntary blood donation drives, and arrange for motivational talks to enable progressively increase the number of voluntary non-remunerated blood donors every year. So who are the eligible blood donors? Everyone know this. Any healthy adult, both male and female, can donate blood. Men can donate safely once in every 3 months, while women can donate every 4 months. And there are a lot of criteria for the donor selection. I will not go deep into that topic right now. So why this voluntary blood donation is needed? The voluntary blood donors are the cornerstone of safe and adequate supply of blood and blood products. The safest blood donors are voluntary non-remunerated blood donors from the low-risk population. An altruistic donor who gives blood freely and willingly without receiving money or any form of payment. Let's see the global overview of the blood collections, and that has been discussed in the morning presentation as well. And this data has been collected from the WHO 2018 data, and where we see that 118.5 million blood donations collected globally, and the distribution of the whole blood donation in high-income countries was observed to be 40%, and their population represents about 16% of the global population. And whereas the lower middle-income countries was seen to be 24, representing 40% of the global population. And in the upper middle-income countries, that was 34 and 36 respectively. So in total, 79 countries collect over 90% of their blood supply from the voluntary unpaid blood donors. However, 54 countries collect more than 50% of their blood supply from family or replacement or paid donations. So this graph just clearly shows that the highest blood collection recorded by WHO region in 2018, that was in Europe, then Western Pacific region, and Southeast Asian region. And distribution of the blood collection in different parts of the world, depending on the high development index countries and middle and low income countries, we also see that the whole blood donation rate was 31.5 donations per 1,000 population per year in high-income countries. So the pattern of blood uses in the different parts of the world. In high-income countries, the transfusions were mostly used for supportive care in cardiovascular and transplant surgery, massive trauma, therapy for solid or hematological malignancies, and patients who were most frequently transfused were over 60 years of age, accounting for up to 76 of all the transfusions. But in case of the low or middle income countries, we see that the treating pregnancy-related complications, severe childhood anemia, and up to 54% of the transfusions were for the children under 5 years of age, and women aged between 15 to 45 years. So this is the blood collection scenario in case of the Southeast Asian region, and where we see the percentage of the blood donation was found to be around 19%, and their population presented 26% of the global population. And thus, the gap between the total population and overall blood donation needs to be filled. So let's come to the Bangladesh scenario. Bangladesh is a country of Southeast Asia, and it is the 8th most populous country in the world, and current population is more than 167 million. Life expectancy at birth and both sexes is 73.6 years. Age structure is 15 to 64 years. HIV/AIDS prevalence rate is less than 0.01%. And in 2020, GDP was 324 billion USD, and GDP growth rate was more than 7.28%. So the history of blood transfusion services in Bangladesh, it started in 1950, and it is under the Ministry of Health. And then in 1976, the NCBT established. In 2000, restructuring of the BTS began. And then in 2002, legislation on Safe Blood Transfusion Act were issued by the Parliament on 10th April. And on 2013, National Blood Policy was published. And this is the organogram of our blood service system, and that is actually monitored by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So the structure of the blood transfusion services in Bangladesh has got both government and private sectors, and government consisting of 63% and private 37%. So this was the blood donation status in 2018 and 19, and we can see that the pie chart is showing that 66% of the blood donation was from the relative of replacement donors, and rest by the voluntary non-remunerated blood donation. Even another important thing to note is that the percentage of male versus female donations is also a lot of high. That is 84% male and 6%, 94% male and 6% female donation. So this is the blood component status. About 70% of the components were in a whole blood, and only 30% we had componentized. So the TTS screening status of Bangladesh. The TTS screening is done mostly in the ICT method, and in some centers, screening is done by ELISA or CLIA method. And even a few of the hospitals, and particularly in case of the corporate hospitals, they are also trying to get the NET in the near future. So Bangladesh maintain a very low prevalence, less than 1% of the TTI markers. Apheresis and blood component therapy. So we do also the componentization of the blood, and we have the apheresis facilities in 52 centers, and we do platelet apheresis, we do plasma apheresis, we go for therapeutic plasma exchange in different diseases, stem cell apheresis. We also go for erythrocyte apheresis, leukocyte apheresis, and even therapeutic red cell exchange. So what are the gaps and challenges we are facing? Lack of availability of trained human resources in all blood centers. And another important gap, that is the decentralized blood transfusion services. Specialized degrees like BSc and MSc in blood transfusion technology are not yet recognized or preferred uniformly at the time of recruitment of blood centers. So these courses are not preferred by the students. Dedicated VNR DLOs, so that means voluntary non-remunerated blood donor liaison officers are very useful promoting VNRDs. And out of 7 reporting countries, only Thailand and Sri Lanka have their dedicated trained cadre. So what are the opportunities that we can use to recruit and retain the donors and convert first-time donors to regular, repeated donors by strengthening the common gaps? Number one is to promote the awareness on VNRDS. We can use the media, both the print and electronic media, use the information technology or social media, conduct community activities like street plays, puppetry shows, flash mob dances, among others, and conduct awareness campaigns throughout educational boards and judiciary, and link up with the different international collaborations like ISBT, AABB, AATM, and Red Cross and Red Crescent societies, and provide incentives such as special leave for blood donation, consideration of special recognition or priority in public utilities, and health insurances. We can organize the VNRD drives in the parents-teacher meeting as well, and this will give a very positive impact to the students, because when they will see their parents are donating blood, they will be positively motivated, and sometimes when they will grow up, they will also continue to donate. Then join with IT and insurance companies as part of corporate social responsibility, and conduct such drives with religious institutions or organizations. Retain blood donors by establishment of regular contact with them for constant engagement, like thanking the donors for their present blood donation using emails, Twitter, or any other social media like SMS, WhatsApp, or Facebook, and remind them of the next blood donation using the same medias. So, what is to donate? A humble effort, a tiny initiative, and a small amount of pain to save a life. And I think 1 unit of blood can save at least 3 lives. So this was from the VNRD part of my presentation. And then the next topic, I will give a little overview of the Asian Association of Transfusion Medicine. So, Asian Association of Transfusion Medicine is a transnational organization operating in Asian region for the development of blood transfusion services in the part of the world. It is a 25-year-old organization and having members from 48 countries, and in 24 countries have functionally autonomous country chapters. It has 7 working groups, and that is mostly WhatsApp-based. It has a working group on immunohematology, VNRD, patient blood management, plasma protein therapy, cellular therapy, quality and accreditation, and social good, and on communication skills. So ATOM has got a lot of activities like the webinars, that is the intra-country or ATOM International, then AABB quality certificate, ATOM working groups. The 7 working groups have their 7 dedicated activities, and then advanced certificate in transfusion medicine. There are several publications like JGTM and newsletters, counselor training program, fellowship program, wet workshop, transplant immunity, EQUAS programs, international research and collaborations, ATOM consultancy. We have a website, and also ATOM transfusion nerds. So the webinars in the last year, 2023, we have done about 25 webinars, and webinars with the international organizations, webinars for the country chapters, and webinars organized by the working groups. We also deal with the international accreditation like AABB quality certificate. We have a MOU signed between the ATOM and AABB, and on the basis of AABB fundamental standards, and joint program in 24 ATOM member countries in Greater Asia. So these are the publications. That is the Global Journal of Transfusion Medicine, e-newsletters, and blood donor counseling training program. These are the faculties. ATOM nursing training program, These are the faculties of the Atom Nursing Training Program, and the president is Dr. Navjot Chaudhary, and Atom Wet Workshops, Atom Advanced Certificate Programs, and finally, I'd like to say, let's become a member of Atom and partnering in a success story. Let's join hands to grow together to offer service to others if we can. And what is the motto of Atom? Supply of safe blood across borderless Asia. So these are some references that I have used for my presentation. And thank you very much for your kind attention throughout my presentation. Thank you.